Okay guys, a little video here for you on using VNAV for takeoff. Arming VNAV for takeoff. So you probably all have flown this thing enough now using some of our policies and procedures that you know when you do a takeoff and specifically let's say a flaps 1 takeoff, the way it works is once you pass this acceleration altitude of 1620 and you climb out to past the top of the white part of the tape here at 1620, your call out would be set speed, climb thrust with flaps 1. Now flaps 5, it would be set speed, flaps 1, climb thrust. Well, what's the set speed part of that? This window would be closed when VNAV goes active. You can see it's in the arm position here in white on the FMA, and selected green here on our MCP. What you have to do then is hit speed intervention to open the window and increase, manually roll this up, however you do it, up to 200 knots, which is what our speed is going to be for our up speed on our tape. So, as I'm sure you figured out by now, it can be hard to do because you're trying to fly the airplane and do all this by yourself, single pilot. So I'm going to give you two methods that are going to be much easier, that are two real-world approved methods that I think you'll find is much better, much easier to do than this whole set speed, flaps 1, climb thrust, or set speed, climb thrust, where you don't have to touch this at all. Now let's read through what this is. So that's the first method. The set speed, climb thrust, where you open the window and roll the bug up by yourself. The next two methods are going to be a lot simpler. So straight out of the book here, arming VNAV for takeoff. It says VNAV's recommended pitch mode for takeoff. When armed, the FMA pitch mode indicates in white, right here, on the FMA. On takeoff, VNAV becomes active at 400 feet AGL. VNAV may be armed for takeoff after 1. A valid flight plan has been entered. 2. Performance data has been entered and executed. 3. Both flight director switches are set to on. 4. MCP speed set to V2. VNAV speed reverts to the climb page speed restriction of flaps retracted. Default is 250 knots below 10,000 feet, right here. If VNAV is planned to be engaged, the following methods are available to limit airspeed for airspace, noise abatement restrictions, or ATC restrictions. Note, the close-in noise abatement takeoff, for instance, Orange County, may not require any FMC programming or the use of speed intervention. So the speed intervention method, that's method 1, one we just talked about. After VNAV is engaged, use speed intervention to set the speed restriction. Note, when the MCP speed window opens, the MCP displayed speed may be higher than the upbug speed, for instance 230 knots. You've probably seen that before. So typically we open the speed window and we actually have to roll it down to say 199 or 200 from 230. So let's get into the two better methods. The 2L method, line select key to left right here on the VNAV climb page is what we're in right now, climb. Pre-flight programming of line select key to left, target speed to the flaps up maneuvering speed of VREF 40, flaps 40 plus 70 will direct the AFDS to command an increase from V2 plus 20 knot to flaps up maneuvering speed when the VNAV is active and passing minimum cleanup altitude. So, init ref, index, approach. If you look at with the VREF 40 speed, right now with this weight, it's 128. We add 70 to that, we get 198. So back to the VNAV climb, we're going to put 198 right here in 2L. This is the 2L method. So now if we execute this, what's going to happen is we're going to break ground. The VNAV is going to go active, and at after we pass our minimum cleanup altitude of 1620, our speed carrot's going to jump from V2 plus 20 to what we programmed, 198. No need to open the window, roll the bug up to 198. It's going to jump there and stay there automatically. And in this method, what's going to happen is it's going to continue to climb. The jet's just going to continue to climb to 198 until we select Econ, at which point it would likely jump to 250 at below 10,000 feet. or higher than 250 if we were above 10,000 feet. Now here's an even better method. The line 2L, 3L method. Line select key 2L and 3L. Let's go back to Econ just to clear this out. The 2L, 3L method on the VNAV climb page. Pre-flight programming of line select key 3 left speed restriction to the flaps up maneuvering speed of VREF 40 plus 70 slash 3000 above airport elevation. For instance, in this case, 198 slash 3620, because Midway sits at 620 feet, so we're going to put 3620 here, 3,000 feet above airport elevation. And programming line select key 2 left, which is target speed, to 250 knots. So we'll execute that. That's what that's going to look like. Those are your changes. Your VREF 40 plus 70 knots slash 3,000 above airport elevation, and line select 2 left to 250 knots. Execute that. So what's going to happen? This says this will direct the AFDS to command an increase from V2 plus 20 to flaps up maneuvering speed, which is going to be 198, when VNAV is active and passing the minimum cleanup altitude. When passing 3,000 foot above airport elevation, the AFDS commands a speed increase to 250 knots, because we put that right there. Number 2, when acceleration is desired to normal climb speed, for instance 10,000 feet, select Econ, this button here, on the VNAV climb page. And again, it says to determine VREF plus 40 plus 70 airspeed, you just do exactly what we did. Inlet ref, index, approach, and a little mental math right here on this flaps 40 speed of 128. Alright, so this works really well in a place like Chicago, where Midway 6 says, 250 knots until advised. So what we'll do is we'll do a takeoff here. I've got a route of Chicago to Columbus. We'll pretend we're going to take off out of here, and we're going to go to Columbus. And so we've got VNAV armed. We'll do a heading left turn to 250 off of 31 center. Our checklists are complete. We've got the time on the engines. We're going to light it up. We've got it before takeoff. Checklist is complete, and we've got our takeoff clearance. Do our throttle burst. Auto throttle is armed. Flight attendant's got 1 ding, and take the runway, and we'll do this. And just watch very closely what happens with the airspeed. And my call out again, instead of saying set speed, climb thrust, I will literally only have to say climb thrust. And this is a real world deal too. Your pilot monitoring does not have to open the speed window and adjust that speed to flaps up bug speed. It will do this automatically, and I think you're going to find this is a much easier, much better method, especially when you're trying to fly a 737 single pilot. So let's do this. We're in position, stabilized at 40. Toga. Set 80 knots. E1. Rotate. Landing gear up. Positive rate. Landing gear up.
Positive rate of climb.
Right up to about 20 degrees. Heading select became active. Let's start our turn. Let's watch for that 1620. There it just jumped to V2 plus 20 from 134 to 154. Now watch what the speed bug does as soon as we clear 1620. Right up to up bug. All we have to do is climb thrust. We did a max blast out of here. Now it's starting to roll back. We've got our climb thrust. Roll out on our heading here. Let's get the autopilot on. Pass the up bug. Flaps up. Just for the sake of demonstration here, we're going to leave flight level 310 here. We're going to climb above 10,000 feet. Clean jet, clean up.
Southwest 1380, please acknowledge.
Disregard the ATC here. On our heading, let's continue a left-hand turn like we're going to Columbus. And now you can see we've passed what we had in here, the 3620. You can see what happened. The bug jumped automatically up to 250. I never had to touch a thing. I never had to open the speed window. See, as we climb above 10,000 feet even, because we've got the speed restriction down here of 250, the jet's going to stay at 250. And like I said, this is a great place. Great for a place like Chicago. The Midway 6 departure. Milwaukee has a speed restriction. A lot of the LA airports have speed restrictions. If you look at the departure procedures real close, they all say speed of 250 until advised. So this is a great way to do that. Let's go N1, delete our climb reduction. Continue the climb. Let's go ahead and go legs page. We'll go direct to Brian. VNAV. We're on our way. Here we are passing, almost past 10,000 feet here. The climb check. Pressurization's check, start procedure off, AQ is off, climb check complete. So we're out of 10,000 feet. Most of you know by now that the jet will automatically jump from 250 up to its econ climb speed, but this is great. Again, we haven't been cleared for normal climb speed. ATC eventually gives you a normal speed. You can hit econ. Says 295. Watch the speed bug. We execute. It jumps to 295. It's just that simple. So there are other methods for using VNAV climb. We showed you two different methods. The method of the 2L, 3L method is probably the best of the three. So give that a try the next time you go out on a flight. See what you think. Hope that helps.